on the window on your side.
All right, hello all. I am recording. This is our first roadmap rodeo. Adam, as we go through, this is an interactive experience, so feel free to ask questions as we go. The concept for this, I believe, is it's a theoretical replacement for sprint review summaries. So this is instead of you joining a call every week, you would be having this separate meeting with the product owner once, I think, a month, to basically talk strategically about, right, here's the most important stuff that's happened, here's the direction of the product, all the sort of important stakeholder engagement stuff, specifically vision orientated, goal orientated, and big ticket item orientated. I believe that's the purpose of this.
Right.
So we'll see how we go. This is our inaugural one, which is very exciting. So we're using YakShaver. We were using Sugar Learning before this, but because Sugar Learning has ramped down a lot, there's not as much development happening. So this is this or Tina would make sense as kind of ones that lots of work's being done on. So I'm covering sprints 29 to 34. So that's 6 sprints, I think, which is quite a lot. So this is 6 weeks worth. Yeah, so all the way from the 1st of October. So that's 6 now. And Adam, in all that time, I think you only missed one summary. Yes, you didn't come to any full sprint reviews, which is fine. Right, so this is the main meat of it, I think. This is kind of the most important stuff that we delivered during the sprint. And I've broken this down into things that are for clients, like not SSW to use it, things that are for actually what the engine does when it's creating PPIs. And then the bot is more like the user interface and how you interact with it from the chat point of view. Okay, all good so far?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So starting off, from client's point of view, our main epic at the moment is to get client tenants set up so that we can have someone who's not SSW use this. It's no mean feat. It takes a fair bit of work, but we're getting there. So the website, YakShaver.ai, is live. It's been moved from, I think it was just a straight up HTML thing to being on a CMS on Tina. That also involved setting up reusable components that can be used for any product page. So a design has also been done for TimePro, for instance, using the same components. So yeah, I mean, obviously, I'll quickly show you, but I know you've seen this page. So this has, a video. It has, marketing stuff about why you need it and who it's for. It's got frequently asked questions. It's got a pricing section. It's got a call to action. I'm not. Just so you know, I'm not stuck on this pricing. So we're doing a per user model, so per user per month model. I'm open to talking about changing that to a per shave model potentially, if you want to have a pure usage based, which might be more appetizing. I think this is what most AI businesses are doing. This model, the per user per month model, but there's also a bit of fatigue with people using AI tools where they think, oh Christ, another per user per month thing I've got to pay for. So yeah, not sure. It's not it's not super expensive, but.
Which model did you get mostly influenced by?
I've pretty much only seen this. So Otter, Apollo, ChatGPT, obviously, Claude, like
is it exactly
Copilot.
the same? Or change the numbers?
No, it's different numbers. Yeah, no. Otter's like $20 per user per month.
So where did these numbers come from?
These numbers, I came up with this. Just trying to work out how to make a bit of profit, basically.
Right.
Yeah, I can't remember now exactly. It was.
Well,
about...
if they're charging $20 a user a month, and they have thousands or millions of users, and ours is an enterprise thing that is obviously costing more per user, then you can't make it cheaper.
Sorry, I'm confused. So Otter is a massive application, does a lot. Like this is, ChatGPT is a huge thing. Like people will pay $20 per user per month for that because it has massive and wide ranging use cases. The AIs that just do a niche thing that you might need every now and then don't charge $20 per user per month.
Yeah, I think you'll find, Yuli, that smaller companies' products are a lot more expensive than mass-produced tools.
So sorry, what are you saying? This is too cheap, or like because I'm thinking, let's say you've got 20 users. If you're charging $350 per user per month, that's not nothing. I don't know.
Yeah. All right.
I'm not sure. And look, I guess I kind of want to go cheap to get some clients, right? And then we can always bump it up if we get lots of demand.
Right. That's very hard to do.
But you don't bump it up with the clients you already have. You bump it up with new clients.
Oh, right. I see what you do. Okay. All right.
So I don't know. Again, I'm not locked in on this pricing. Happy to do more research and figure out alternatives. I took a bit of direction from Betty, who'd done a bit of research as well. But yeah, no, absolutely happy to revisit this.
Sure. Okay.
Whether it's the amount per user per month or whether we just don't go per user per month and we do per consumption. How many PPIs are created or how many emails are sent.
All right. I would, as a minimum, I'd prefer to get rid of the $.50. So it's either $3 or $4 or $2. I don't think it adds a lot of value to what these decimal places makes.
I mean, that's just a lot of variance then, because you're talking about doubling the price then from $2 to $4.
Yeah, I just don't think it's it makes the numbers look bigger. It makes it look a lot simpler if you just say $2 or $3 instead of $2.50.
Okay. All right. Give me 2 seconds to YakShaver this.
Why is Pro cheaper than the basic
Per user.
per user? Right.
Because
Okay.
there's more users. Give me
I
just
think
1
there should
second.
be a minimum users.
Hang on. Pause. New PBI for YakShaver. We need to revisit the pricing. If you look at my screen right now, you can see the current pricing. At the moment, we're looking at $3.50, $3, or $2.50. We'd like to remove the decimal places, so make them round numbers, but also do a bit of research to see what similar companies are doing and whether they charge per user per month or per consumption. So in our case, how many PBIs or emails get sent or created. But as a minimum, we want to simplify this a bit if we can.
Yeah, we'd like to know what we're modeling this off. So put screenshots of the competitors into a Word doc on the internet.
Sorry, I'd already stopped, but I'll try and remember that. Okay, cool. So moving on.
So I think it
Yeah.
gets cheaper, Jack, because there's a minimum amount
Oh,
of
that's
users.
okay. Right. So
But
there is a
that's not
minimum.
there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I'm like, if I'm just a single user, I'm just picking the cheapest one, and that's like,
Of a business.
Yeah, no, that's right. It's
Business.
minimum number of users. Yeah, so it's as you go up. All right. Oh, great. You're now a premium level person, so it's cheaper for you per user, but you have to have at least 20, 30 users, whatever.
So why don't you have the individual user, which is $1 a month or something?
It's not what basic is.
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah, it's 0 to 20. So yes, it is. Yeah. So one user would be $3.50.
Right. You don't want to have an individual?
That's that. Well, as in like one user is $4 or $5 or so. And then what, 2 to 20 users is more. Why do that?
I'm just used to seeing like a free version.
Well, what's the minimum? What's the minimum of users you need for basic?
1.
Right. So you'd have to increase
One
that if
is-
you added a.
1 is 0 to 20 users.
Just do me a favor. I know there's nothing to do with it. Can you just go to payload, EMS? I know their pricing, but What's the
headless
cloud
CMS.
pricing?
Where is it?
There'd be cloud pricing somewhere.
Yeah, I think I saw it in there. Cloud pricing. Yeah. Not great from the website. Can't even get to it.
See, there's a free version. There's an individual person, and then there's a company version. Now,
I think
do you
because
have a free, we don't have a free version, do we?
we have a 14-day free trial.
Okay. Why don't you have a free version that's where you can do one per month every month or something?
We could. I guess we thought there's a fair bit of setup involved. So it's not like somebody can just go, oh, let me try this, click, give it a go. Then they have to like hook in with all their systems.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But if they don't like it, they don't have to.
Everybody gets their own database, don't they?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of work there. All right, good.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. So yeah, website is looking nice. We can obviously make tweaks to it. So decided on an architecture for multi-tenancy. So that I believe you've spoken to Rick about that now. So that's what you're just talking about with the databases. And in the last sprint, they finished the CI/CD for the client portal, and they've got like a single page up. So yeah, we've got progress there. They're working on authentication for that right now, and they're syncing up with how they did it for Eagle Eye, doing it the same way. Cool. All good in the client stuff?
Yep.
Cool. All right, so it's been slow going, but this is our main focus at the moment. All right, so now talking about how the actual application works. So when recording a Yak, you can now cancel by saying, sorry, cancel, don't do it, stop, no, oh crap, I've made a mistake, I don't want this. And it gives you a nice user interface like saying, hey, we think you want to cancel, yes, cancel, no, don't cancel, do it anyway. So that's good. Is
that feature showing on the web page?
That is in my demo video.
Right, okay.
But that's a reasonable question.
It's a demo video, but are you going to be putting these features on the website?
That's a good point. Where would you put it in frequently asked questions? How would you do that?
Can you cancel a YakShaver?
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. YakShaver this. Give me a sec. New feature for YakShaver. On yakshaver.ai, this website here, under the frequently asked questions section, have in a whole bunch about the different features that we have. So the main one we're thinking about at the moment is for canceling a YakShave, but have a think about it and think of anything else that might want to go here as well. Like, can you move a PBI from one place to another or whatever? Basically, look at what it does and think which features might make sense to be put in the frequently asked questions section.
You don't usually put all the features in frequently asked questions.
Okay, so also have a think about whether there should be a separate section, like a features section in the top navigation, or a separate section on the page. Maybe chat to Betty to see where that would make sense.
It could just be
maybe
docs or
it goes here
guides,
or docs section.
like that.
Yeah, don't know, but we need something to have those features so you can kind of see all the things. Cool. Done. All right, so that's it. Canceling is cool. I like that now. It also used to just cancel without telling you anything. So sometimes it would decide that you had chosen to cancel and you'd be like, where's my YakShave? So now it's more visible. All right, next
it
one.
asks you before you cancel.
Yes,
are you sure you want to cancel?
It gets you to confirm, exactly. So we had a bunch of problems with different projects where it wasn't working because of authentication issues or because of weird stuff like JK versus Yone Kavka at SSW as the tech lead, and there was a whole bunch of different reasons why it wasn't working for some projects. Those have all been fixed. So now, as far as I know, this works for every project at SSW, which is good. This I love. So when you do a YakShave, for instance, that one I just did, I mentioned that I was talking about my page. So it'll put a screenshot of the page and it'll put the URL from the top of the page into the PBI or email. So that's extremely cool.
Is that in your video?
Yes. Yes, it is. Okay, next thing is, this is unfortunately something we will only be able to do for enterprise clients. But if I YakShave in a Teams meeting, like this Teams meeting that we're in right now, it has access to who is in this chat, and it will @mention or CC everyone who's in this chat. Unfortunately, that costs a lot of money. We had to do it via a Teams global subscription, and it means we would have to charge a lot for larger companies. And the larger the company, that it gets exponentially more expensive, because you are charged for every message that anyone sends to anyone. It's also a big security risk, because you have to get security access to every message sent by everyone to everyone, which could be a bit of pill to swallow for most clients. So we need this to not be the case. So for everyone except enterprise, we're going to not do that. We're going to just give up that feature. For enterprise, it'll be an option that they can use if they want to. But we found a workaround so that we can still YakShave across, just so everyone knows. It was a bit technically difficult to do everything via Teams, because Teams channels, Teams private calls, and Teams meetings put recordings in different places with different amounts of permissions required to see those recordings. So that was the difficulty there. So yeah, we've found workarounds for it, but we can't find a workaround for CCing everyone in the call, because that was the only way we could get that. Is that clear? That was a bit complicated. Does everyone understand what I'm talking about?
Is SSW an enterprise client? Do we still get that feature?
We do. Yes, we are still an
Okay,
enterprise
cool.
client.
Nice.
We're not so massive that it's costing us a huge amount of money. But if we wanted to scale this up and have millions of clients, it wouldn't make sense to pay most of that money to Microsoft for a feature that some people may not care about.
Yeah.
Okay, we now have a leaderboard. The leaderboard is fun. For instance, here you can see that who's been using it recently, which is cool.
Is that on the website?
No, it's not. There's nothing about a leaderboard on the website. So part of that PBI I just said was to look for all potential features that could go on there. So I'm sure I'll think of that one. Yeah. So leaderboard's fun,
Because
especially when I
leaderboard
do
should be on the
staging.
marketing website. I disagree with that.
You
a bit weird.
don't think so?
No.
Oh, the fact that they might want a leaderboard.
Oh, you mean the feature? Yeah.
Yeah, not the actual information, just the fact that
Yeah,
they can have a
okay.
leaderboard to see who's making the most PBIs.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. By the way, we don't use the word PBI in the application at all. We used to, and then I realized that most people don't know what a PBI is. So we're using work item as a more inclusive thing that people understand, whether or not they're devs.
Really? That's okay.
Yeah, because there's all sorts of tools like Zendesk or Monday.com or Asana or whatever, which all has this like task tracking stuff where they're putting work items into backlogs, but they're not product backlog items because they're not necessarily Scrum houses.
Okay.
Yeah,
I haven't heard that term much, but
we did think of the word task. I like the word task. The problem is task normally sounds like you're giving the AI work to do rather than giving
yeah,
a nugget of work, information about work that somebody has to do. So that's why we landed the work item.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. Okay. So the bot now notifies when it receives a video. So as soon as it starts work on something, it's trying to be as responsive as possible. So if I do a YakShave, I very quickly get told like this that something is happening. So I get this video received, shaving your yak now, and I want that to happen as quickly as possible. So I press stop recording, and hopefully within 10 seconds, boom, I've got something happening. And then after a minute or so, I get this full thing. We've also added the work item number here as well, the ID, which was asked for. Okay, we've now got move work items. So this is good because originally we were just trying to make sure we always got it right. But if somebody wants something done in Dynamics, they might also mention Time Pro and they might also mention Power BI. And sometimes it was getting confused about which backlog it was supposed to go into. We had a disambiguation thing that would come in when it's not sure, it would ask. But sometimes it would be confidently wrong. So now we've got this move work item button. So if that was actually supposed to be not for YakShaver, it was supposed to be for Time Pro or whatever. I just click that, select Time Pro, and boom, it regenerates it in Time Pro. I like that feature a lot. I think that's really cool. I'm also adding that, just so you know, I'm adding that button even if it creates an email. So this was an email that I sent earlier. I'm adding move work item in there as well, because you might not have wanted it sent an email. You might want it in a backlog. So it sent an email, but actually, no, thank you. I want that as a backlog item. So I click move work item and select a backlog, and it moves that email to a PBI.
What does it do with the email? Does it reply and say, never mind?
Yeah, it should. Yeah, it should reply back and say, hey, this has been moved to this PBI.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, with a link. That hasn't been implemented yet. That's in the backlog at the moment.
Yeah.
Cool. And last, name disambiguation has been added. So we had project disambiguation, meaning, I'm not sure, did you want Time Pro or Dynamics? Now we've got name disambiguation as well, so that if you say email Matt, it can say, do you mean Matt Wicks or Matt Goldman? And all of these features use something called a confidence score, where if it's less than 70% confident, it will ask. If it's more than 70% confident, it will just send it without asking. Cool. Any questions on kind of the main work delivered in the last 6 weeks?
No.
Cool. So looking at the epics, this kind of shows our priorities. So our client tenant setup is our main priority at the moment. Actually, let me quickly get the latest version of this. Epics. So, yeah. This was a week ago. Cool. So you can kind of see where we're up to for each PBI. For each epic. We're about halfway through the client tenant setup. I don't think that's right. I think a whole bunch of new PBIs just got created by Rick after he spoke to Adam and got the approach verified. So I think that's probably a lot less than 45% now. But interestingly, you can see the MVP is, basically done. Like these improvements asked for by SSW staff, MVP is like stuff that we think is really, really useful, really good features. We've got to an MVP point. It's extremely usable now. So the remaining ones there, the remaining 5 that are there are just like really nice to have, basically. Yeah. Is that useful for you to see, Adam? That view? Go on mute, Adam.
Sorry. Yeah. No, it's all good.
Okay, cool. I'm not zoomed enough. All right, so we had some blockers. The client tenant setup, including the admin portal, the original spike to work out how to architect tenants wasn't good enough. So Rick did a V2 and involved Matt and Gordon and I think a couple other people. Since then, I think he's shown that to you, and you still had feedback for him about how to do that video better. He thought that meant do a V3. I told him that doesn't mean do a V3. He's already approved the approach. It just means next time you do a video, take these into account. Was that the right call?
Yeah, I guess so. Yep.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, the video was so far away from being close to releasable.
Yeah, I don't think he thinks of it as a releasable video. I think he's just thinking of it as trying to explain to you why they want to do that approach.
Right. That makes no sense to me. You're talking about a very, very generic situation. You're talking about, multi-tenancy. It's a very,
he could have made a public video for that, but I don't think that's what he was thinking in his head when he recorded it.
I think that he knew by the end of that video that it probably wasn't good and he should do a V2. But probably he was influenced by the fact that others wanted to go, and so he didn't want to do it without them.
Right. So he already did a V2. So you're talking about potentially doing a V3, but I mean,
I've
a long
only
time.
seen a V1,
Let me think.
and he told me he didn't do anything else.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong. I know that he did it. Maybe he did it without a video, and then you asked him to do it with a video. Maybe I'm not sure. And then maybe there was another video.
Right.
So there's a fair bit of tech debt, and they've requested a refactor about a fair few sections. Since then, we have decided to try something a bit mad, which I think is kind of cool. I don't know if everyone's across this. I'll just see if I've got anything written later about it. We'll get to it with the planning section. But FYI, we're going to be building this. We're going to be deprecating a fair bit of code and allowing it to work more agentically, which I'll get to in a second. All right, so leaderboard. Let me just make sure I get the up-to-date leaderboard. So the bottom one, by the way, is Gabby. So we've just YakShaved that bug this morning. That if somebody is a disabled user, they show up like that at the moment. So we're going to fix that. If we can't get her name, we'll just skip her and show number 11 as number 10 for people who've left the organization.
I can't believe you can't get a name of a disabled user.
You probably can. So I've asked for the ideal implementation to be to just get the name and fix it. But if they can't, then I said skip it.
Okay.
Yeah. So availability is 100%, which is good. There was a bug that Adam and a few others experienced for a while, which was not an availability issue. It was a toggling issue. That if the application wasn't used for a while, sometimes it would auto toggle to off, and then you try and YakShave and not know why it wasn't working. So we've added a status mode so you can check if it's on or off. And we've also done a bunch of work around that to make sure that there's no auto off toggling. Oh, there it is. That was that. I think that caused a fair bit of frustration, especially for Adam. So I don't know. Is everyone on this call YakShaving in general?
Yeah, I was very frustrated with that one.
Yeah, that one, I had no idea. Yeah, I just checked my status and it's off.
Right.
So that's probably why mine haven't been coming through. Okay, makes sense.
Cool. There you go. So FYI, we are making a change to how it works. Instead of having on and off, we're going to have on and ask. So it'll never be off. It will, if it's off, it'll just confirm before doing it, basically. So we'll
right.
That's in progress at the moment.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think that's better. I think. Oh, sorry. Bob, I can't talk right now. No, she hasn't. Okay, you go home and you'll see there. Right. Sorry, daughter hasn't messaged today. She's home. Okay. Where am I up to? Oh yeah. Okay. So this is what I was talking about. So at the moment, the way the application is architected is it's basically a workflow, and AI is used at each of the nodes of that workflow to work out where it should go down the workflow, right? So first off, the first thing is, do they want to cancel? No? All right. Are they asking me to send an email, or are they just talking about a project? They're saying an email. Okay, well, if they're saying an email, then blah, blah, right? Each time, it's a structured workflow with AI making the decisions at each node, right? We are changing that to a fully agentic model, which means we are giving it all the tools that it can do. So we're saying, here is a tool that allows you to write emails. Here is a tool that allows you to make a PBI, et cetera, and giving full descriptions of how you use each tool. And then we're letting the AI figure out what to do based on the transcript and the ability of having those tools. So we're using semantic kernel for this, which is Brady's baby. And they did a proof of concept and it worked really well, which is interesting. And what it allows us to do is to not have to predict everything a user might want to do. So at the moment, we need to know every way that a user might try to use YakShaver, and have a workflow that works for that. With this, we don't need to do that. We just need to give it capabilities and let the AI figure out what it should do with those capabilities. Brady, question.
Yeah, that's awesome because there's a lot of potential. Like you can, if you make them the little tasks simple enough, then you could say send an email to Jack, and then send another email to Nick, and then it'll know. Okay, I just need to do this thing twice.
Yeah.
And then you can say you could go on for ages, like send a PBI and then send an email.
Yeah, this
It just
it opens up a big can of worms. But yeah, being able to do multiple things in one video is cool. However, what link to the video do you put into each one of those PBIs? Do you put the whole video in, or do you just put the timestamp parts that it thinks are relevant?
Yeah, I guess they'll probably put the whole video, and you could probably work out the time.
Yeah, maybe put a whole video and say a start time, something like that. Because what I worry about is sometimes you might give a bunch of context and then create a bunch of tasks for a bunch of different people, but it has shared context. So I don't know. We'll figure that out as we go. I'm nervous that it might be less predictable. Like with the structured workflow, I'm able to speak to it in a way that I get extremely predictable results. But I also designed it based on how I think. So of course it's going to work well for me. That's the one thing I'm worried about is, it might make a different decision than I would have made, and I have a little bit less control over the exact flow.
Yeah, I bet it will introduce some bugs, and it will just be slightly less reliable in general. But I think it'll be worth it for the
flexibility
capabilities it'll introduce.
And the really cool thing about it is obviously that we're harnessing the exponentials. I know that sounds ridiculous, but like we're not building it as it works right now and going, great, we have something that works. We're building something that will improve as the models improve, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So this is only really just possible now-ish. Like right now, we could either use O1 or we could use Claude Sonnet 3.5 new, and both of those have great reasoning capabilities and could do a good job now. But I'll be interested to see how it works with GPT-5, etc. Anyway, it's very exciting because that's a very different way of building an application.
Yes, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's like it's like saying here's a bunch of functions. You work out when you want to use them.
Exactly. Yeah,
it's so cool.
Yeah. So Adam, as a minimum, I think this is going to make a great user group talk. All right, so most of the effort for the next, this is about planning, Adam. So what we're doing for the next few sprints, most of our effort is although we've approved to do that agentic approach, I'm not pushing them to do that now. I'm getting them to try and get this working for other tenants first, non-SSW tenants. That's my main focus. And trying to minimize further functionality work because it might be wasted if we end up refactoring into an agentic workflow. There's an epic for it. We've talked about the changing the pricing. So this might slightly change the goal of the product because right now it's extremely structured what it can and can't do. Once we've done this change, we may find that people start using it in ways we're not expecting, and we might want to alter the goal of the application to be broader. So you can see right now the product goal is make the perfect task, ticket, or email in 30 seconds with AI. I don't think we need to change that now, but I'm flagging that it may end up doing more than that. It may end up, structuring your backlog or working out which PBI should go to which epic, or looking for duplicates in your PBI. It might be in your backlog. It might be a full backlog helper as opposed to just a tool to add new PBIs. Not sure. Do you want to make any changes to the vision now, Adam, or are you happy with it staying as is for now? With that,
no, I'm happy with it. I'm happy with what you're doing. It's fine.
Okay. Cool. All right. Are there any changes you want to make to the roadmap that I've talked about?
No, I think you got a lot of work there.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So the big decision there, Adam, is whether we prioritize tenants first or agentic workflow first. We're doing tenants first right now.
Yeah, and I've agreed with what you've proposed.
Okay. All right, no worries. Well, in that case, FYI, we've added Lewis to the party. Adam, you and I spoke briefly about potentially adding Gert a while ago, but then I think after that we decided to add Lewis. Do we still want to think about Gert, or are we happy with the team as is?
No, I think it's fine.
It's good as is. Okay. Yep. Okay, beautiful. Well, that's everything. That's our roadmap rodeo. So, I guess the big question, Adam, is would that be enough information or enough context for you, it's hard to tell, right? Because you are in the loop every week. So we need to get a project and make you go dark mode on it for a month, and then give you this information and see if it was enough to get you up to speed, really. But what are your thoughts?
I have no idea, but I knew everything you said. So
Yeah,
you're right. But yes, this is nice report and helpful, I guess.
I think this would be good. You know how I talked about the patch notes in games. I think this would be good for interested third parties to know where it's up to, what the vision is, what we're doing, big level stuff. They'd be more likely to watch this than a sprint summary.
Maybe, yeah. So far, I still like the sprint summaries more, but this was obviously very good. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I will stop recording.
Beautiful. Okay.